That Talking Podcast. I'm JJ Starr.
And I'm Downtown Andy.
Welcome. We're here to talk and bring some civil discourse to an otherwise discordant world. How are you?
How are you?
I'm sad. At the time of recording this, it is Sunday, August 24th, and this is a hard day.
In this house, yeah.
In this house, it's a very hard day. And in houses of friends and everything, today is the 4th anniversary of the unfortunate death of a very, very beloved friend of ours.
Jym Perella.
Yeah.
Big Jym.
Big Jym Anderson. And it's
that was his stage name.
Yeah.
His
and
wrestling name.
It's always very difficult. It is always very difficult to, just sort of live through, I think.
Especially when, he was such a good guy who abided by all our rules. He knew the rules.
I don't know. He was kind of an asshole sometimes.
Yeah, but who wasn't back then? But while we're on the subject, let's get to the rules.
Yes, we do have here in podcast land, we do have
I'm sure
rules.
In the afterlife there are rules as well.
Probably. Whether or not you abide by them is a different story. But we have 3 rules.
The dude abides.
No no judgment, nothing personal, and don't be a dick.
You hear that, Jim? Don't be a dick.
Today we are absolutely not going to be dicks, but I think in a way we are going to be dicks because I have a feeling, we've been, it's always sort of on the mind and everything. So now I feel like we're going to end up.
For those watching the video, show them your shirt.
We're going to end up telling some stories. That
big old lug.
Yeah. I mean, he was.
This is another in memoriam.
A giant. I don't know if this is so in memoriam because I feel like everything that's always on our mind about him pokes just a little bit of fun. Just a little bit of fun.
I mean, he had
the type of person that he was.
A wonderful sense of humor.
Yes.
Very goofy.
He was a very humorous type of person,
like Hulk of a man.
He was a walking, I'm sorry, but I know that in my experiences with him in the 20 years that I had him in my life, 20 years, yeah, 20 years, and you
got a lot more with him than
I can honestly say that he was just sort of he was like a walking Looney Tunes pratfall waiting to happen. He was just
just an Acme piano on his way down.
On the cusp of constantly being made fun of for one thing or another.
Him?
Oh, God, yes. God, yes. Because he was such a goof.
But he took it in stride. He had
oh, yeah.
He did not have a thin skin at all.
No. He reminded me a lot in his younger days of Marmaduke. Because he wasn't quite as large. He wasn't quite as large as he got to be. Because he wasn't a big guy when he was in high school.
Between the stories I've been told and the pictures that I've been shown, especially his high school yearbook photo with the glasses.
Yeah, I know, it's real.
He kind of looks like my brother Mark, just a big dorky
I have pictures of him from when he was 24 and everything, and it's to see him at 24 versus 40 is the weirdest difference ever. Before he was Big Jym, when he was average size Jym, he was just
fun size Jym.
He was tall Jym at that point, as opposed to Big Jym. When he still had a neck, and
he always had a neck. It's just eventually he grew giant nipples.
But I don't want to talk about his nipples.
Listen, I saw the man without his shirt on quite a bit.
So did I.
And there were times where I'm like, please put that back on.
It was awkward. It was very uncomfortable sometimes.
Giant man boobs.
But he was such a, I don't know. It's he was ready and raring to be friends with everybody.
He was.
He was absolutely ready to be if you entered the picture, you were automatically friends. And it was just so endearing.
So many really stories. Was. It's where to start.
When did you meet him? When did you meet Jym?
You know exactly when I met Jym.
When did you meet Jym?
When did I meet Jym? When I met Jym, had to be sometime between 2011 and 2012.
Okay.
I was hanging out with Billy at the time, who was living with Tom. They were living in the same house in Danbury, the mansion on Deer Hill. And so I was in a band with my friend Tony, who I had met through my job at the time when we had the store. He was a customer there.
Yeah.
He's like, you have to jam with my friends and come to parties at their houses, which is where Billy and Tom were. They're like, you're a pretty good guitar player. We should jam. Jym was hanging out there because Two-Fisted Law played the house, played in and around Danbury. They needed a guitar player at one point. But prior to me joining Two-Fisted Law, like we'd be at house parties, we'd be at the same places. And I remember one night having parked behind the trailer, not knowing it was them or not knowing they needed to leave. And Jym proceeded to put beer bottles underneath all of my tires. And then somebody I'm in Billy's room at the time, and someone's like, yeah, the guy with the 4runner's got to move because Two-Fisted Law is trying to leave. I come outside, I see the beer bottles, and Jim's just standing there giggling. And I'm like, who the put beer bottles under my... And I see him, I'm like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
This gargantuan who would later on go to show me that brute strength of his in many, many more ways than one.
I met him... December of 2002. I was trying to sort of transition into being a music major, and I had made more than friends with this kid who ended up being in a band with him, ended up being in Last Kid Picked. And I the first time we met, I want to say I believe it was the day after Christmas, Boxing Day, at the Chance. And they were opening that show? Because another band that I was friends with was opening a show at the Chance. And I believe Last Kid Picked was also opening that same show. And I just remember I was standing sort of by where the bar, that like lane towards the stairs to go to the front door. I was standing there, and I'd known that he was in the same band with this kid that I was hanging out with, but he just sort of like sidled up next to me, and he just looked down at me, and I looked up at him, and he just looked down at me, and I just looked up at him, and we just did that a few times. And we were watching the stage from that point, but we just kept sort of like
you two were planning out the rest of your night is what you were doing.
And I was like, what are we doing? And then finally he was just like, he said something along the lines of like I think we're gonna be friends. And I was like, oh. I'm like, okay, up there, like I'm like, it's sure, gotcha. And then from there on out, like a few days after New Year's was when we started talking like all the time on Instant Messenger in those days.
Good old AIM.
A good old AIM.
I'm sorry if I'm having a hard time making eye contact. I'm trying to see if any of the tattoos on his arms on the shirt are
Yeah, this is the AFI tattoo with the scarecrow, right? Oh, excuse me. This is the AFI. That's the AFI tattoo. That's a skull. I'm going cross-eyed looking at it this close.
I mean, I'm pretty sure he designed that shirt, so...
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did.
He must have got it. Well, this is Jym we're talking about.
He came to me so many times, and he's like, I need you to design a t-shirt for me. I need you to design this.
You didn't design that one, right?
No. He's like, I want you to design my ring gear. I need you to design my ring gear for me and everything. And
yeah, well, I need you to do a few things.
Like everything that man always did, every collaboration he wanted to do with me for the last 10 years of his life was quite literally, it was all talk, no follow through. And I was prepared for that. I was absolutely prepared for it every single time, because I'm like, this is the man who quite literally is like a walking, we gotta hang out soon. And I'm just like, yeah, okay.
To the very end.
To the very end. It's like, yeah, okay. Yes, you're right. We do need to hang out soon.
I'm still waiting for that beer. See, the thing is, I'd never heard of nor seen River's End or Last Kid Picked until I got to know him. Like, well, I never saw any of them, but like I heard the stories,
Yeah.
about and saw the pictures and things like that. But I'd always heard, because at the time I was just getting into like the Danbury music scene, um, and being able to hang around and seeing flyers for Two Fisted Law and
Yeah.
hearing about Two Fisted Law. I'm like, who the fuck is Two Fisted Law? They're playing this, they're playing that.
Yeah.
And I had been at a lot of shows that they played, but didn't stick around to watch, or in some cases didn't even know. Like I remember we went and saw the Misfits at the Chance one night,
Yeah.
and they were on the bill, but again, no, like we were there for the Misfits, so I didn't
Yeah.
watch their set. Come to find out years later when I look at the ticket stub and I'm going through like old like memories and stuff, and I'm like, wow, like I could have seen them before I joined.
Yeah.
But I actually never did see them before I joined until after, like they played one more show without me after I had joined when Terry was still playing
Right.
guitar. It was the Thanksgiving show at Snappers.
Was I there?
Snappers in Torrington.
Oh, then no. I remember going to one show at Snappers in Kingston and being so pissed off at having to be there because it was so fucking crowded.
Mm-hmm.
But I think
small place.
that was very small place.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember bits and pieces of the evening because that was the night that Jym was like, bring your merch.
Like
and
the
I'm
Love
like,
Hard merch.
Yes. I'm like, bring my merch. And he's like, yeah, you can totally set it up at the bar. There'll be, like a whole table for you. And I'm like, he neglected to mention that the table that was going to be for me was like the size of an ashtray.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like,
that Snappers are.
I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm like, he's like, where's your stuff? And I'm like, it's in the fucking car, asshole. And I'm like, I'm not hauling my shit in here. I'm like, none of these people are gonna buy my shit.
Did they?
No.
No.
But he
was trying.
He tried so hard. He wanted me to be a part of the whole thing.
Yeah.
He wanted me to be a part of it so badly. And he, thanks to him, I met you. I met, people. I met people like Travis. I got to do Rat's Nest and Upstart and everything like that. And it really was a good time had by all kind of situation. But while I am grateful for the opportunity to have met people through him, he became increasingly, while one of my dearest, most beloved friends, one of the most unreliable human beings I've ever met in my life. One of the absolute most unreliable people I've ever met. Ever. Like any time that he said, I'm going to do something, I'm going to call you, let's meet here. Never in a million years would I ever prepare for it because I'm like, he's a goddamn liar. He's a fucking liar, and I love him to death.
My second show with the band, we're opening for Michael Graves at the Loft, but he had a wrestling match that night.
I was at that show.
At the wrestling show?
No, I was at the Michael Graves show.
And the whole time, I'm just like the rest of the guys already knew. They're like, he's not making it. He's absolutely not making it. There's no way. And I didn't know any better at the time, but I'm got my eyes glued to the door, just hoping like he's gonna come bursting through that door in, true form, and he's just gonna hop on stage like nobody's business and just launch into whatever we're doing.
I remember getting a text from him that night because I asked him, I was like, what time should I get there? And he told me when to be there so that I would be early for the show. So I was in there by myself. I did not show up with anybody because I showed up to hang out with him. And I remember it's getting later and later and later. And I was like, where are you? And he just texted me back, I'm going to be late.
Meaning he's never going to show up at all.
And the next thing I know, Kyle's up there in his little short pants and he's doing the show. And I'm just like, okay. Which is why 2 songs into Michael Graves' set, out I went. I was like, well, I'm done. I was like, no, because I'm like, I did not come here for this.
You want to know something cute? If you were there that night,
yeah,
I was, and I probably noticed you, and I probably was just like trying to like sneak a peek.
I was hanging out, that pillar on the left side, on the left side of the stage, like by the hallway.
Mm-hmm.
I was there the whole time.
But you know me, I don't approach pretty girls.
I was so like, I was like, are you joking me? Like, not only did I not get to hang out with the guy, but like, I didn't go to see Kyle play a show.
Gee, thanks a lot.
Well, I didn't.
Like, we knew each other at that point.
Yes, we did.
We had met.
Yeah, we'd met.
But
I was just like,
there's one video from that night that I have.
Yeah,
it's us doing late nights, and Kyle going to, I think, Broderick being like, "Why are you getting him a beer? He's the new guy." That show actually. So I didn't know what a two-fisted law clusterfuck looked like at the time, but that sure was one of them, because not only did Jym not show up, but Ricky wasn't there, and Dave had to fill in on bass, and Dave was out of the band at that point.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Dave played bass that night, so it was me, Dave, Kyle, and Tom, and Kyle and I had to split singing duties.
Yeah,
and I was essentially still breaking in, because this is my second show with these guys.
Yeah.
But I wanted to be in this band so much because I knew they were going to play all the time, and so I learned the first 2 albums in a night.
Yeah,
I was like, I really want to impress these guys. Like, I really want to make an impression.
I mean,
it was Jym is the reason I got in.
Mm-hmm.
Because all throughout that summer, the summer of 13, I had been hanging out at the Mansion, just dicking around with Billy and Tom. And then Tom had to leave because they did I think they went to, it wouldn't have been South by, but they went to Texas and back.
Yeah.
And like Tennessee and stuff. They did a Midwest tour. And when he got back, he was lived there. Jym had been hanging around, and they're like, well, Terry's got to leave at some point because Terry wants to start doing jukebox again full time. We're going to need another guitar player. So that's when the conversations had begun about replacements. And I'm like, I'm in this other band that I'm just not jiving with right now. Like, I'm looking for something different to do. And he had heard me, and Tom had vouched for me because we'd played together before.
Yeah.
And so Two Fisted Law at the time was practicing in the basement, because since Tom lived there, his drums were already there. So it's like, obviously that's where you practice. I don't even remember like what they had heard me play. Like, I remember walking in for the first time and seeing the whiteboards, the famed whiteboards, with all the old stuff on it, and their Misfits cover set whiteboard, which I still have pictures of, which they had been doing a lot lately. And I'm thinking to myself, like, what am I getting myself into?
Yeah.
But he's the one who talked me up to everybody else and gave me my chance.
Yeah.
To make that impression.
You made an impression.
And then I would become his chauffeur.
Yep.
After he lost his car.
Yep.
Because not only that, he he intruded on my date that night. The night that he lost his car.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Was it a date?
I mean, I thought it was a date.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was more like dinner, because he basically just hijacked the conversation. Thanks a lot, asshole. I used to, and then when he started couch surfing, I would pick him up, and because our jobs at the time were right near each other, I'd pick him up in the morning, drop him off, and he'd find a way back at night. Sometimes I'd drive him home from practice. Sometimes I drive him to practice, and I drove him to a lot of gigs.
Yeah.
And that's where we got to know each other. Just from shuffling through playlists and talking about music and girlfriends and life and kids. And
maybe he talked to you about me without even realizing it.
No, he talked about you a lot.
Oh, he did?
Yeah. Oh, I thought this was clear. Like he talked about you, especially after we met for the first time. Like, when he told me, he's like, "Don't you fucking think about it." I'm like, what? No, he talked. I distinctly remember telling him, I'm like, well, if she's where you want to be, stop screwing around.
A lot of people told me, after he died, like a good handful of people were like, that you were the one that got away. And it made me even more angry at him after he died, because I gave him, and not to, dwell and everything, but like I gave that man more chances than I have ever given another person in my life. I have never given anyone so many opportunities to stop fucking up with me. Like, this man was engaged to this bitch who had my name. And when he told me that, I lost my shit. We were on the Staten Island Pier when he told me that. He was like, so I'm engaged. And I was like, oh, all right. Surprise. Congratulations. And he's just like, her name's Jess. And I'm like, no, it's not. You're yanking my chain. And he's just like, no, yeah, yeah. And I'm like, okay. And literally for 2 years, 2 full fucking calendar years after that, nope. This man would text me almost daily telling me he made a mistake, he should be with me. And I'm like, you are getting married to this woman, allegedly. And he's just like, you know, she's not you, she's not you, she's not you. And I'm like, so leave her. I'm right fucking here. And his answer was constantly, I can't do that. And I'm like, then leave me the fuck alone.
He wanted to have his cake and eat it.
Well, from what I have heard, the man had plenty of cake. All right? The man had plenty of cake.
I was his friend, not his keeper.
I mean, I was rudely made aware of several other women that I am now friends with, that he had a thing with while he was trying to have a thing with me, while he was getting engaged to someone with my name. So it was a little ridiculous, but like I never begrudged him that, because I was just like, hindsight is 2020, but the fact of the matter is it was never going to go anywhere, because he did the one thing I told him. I said, never do this. And then he went and did it. And I said, we are over. We can always be friends. This will never work, because I will never have that level of trust with you, which was fine. But it didn't stop him from being like, you know, I have a show. Come see my show. Let me buy you some drinks. Sleep on the couch with me. And it's just like, I was like, and that's where I learned about his giant nipples. And let me tell you, you know, was it Rob who said that he rolled on to him?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they wanted me to share that bed with them, and I'm like, no, I'll sleep in the armchair. I'm good.
You made a wise choice.
I sure did, because when I woke up, Rob's not a small person.
No, but I am.
Rob was eclipsed by Jym.
It is terrifying when a man that size
engulfs you.
Literally dead weight on you. And we were on Heather's couch, and I just slowly tried to just pry myself out like a watermelon.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Weird, right?
Yeah, really
like
weird.
Like really weird. These star, you know, trains passing in the night kind of thing, you and me, that we find out all these years later.
Even weird that I was at Heather's one night and he came by with Sarah and was just completely gone.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I'm gonna go now.
I remember meeting Sarah at a party in 2011. It was our friend's 30th birthday party, and I hadn't seen Jym. I hadn't talked to him in probably like a year and a half. So it was like miraculous. Then he was just like, he just basically put me in a headlock, and he's like, promise me we're never gonna go away like that again. And I was like, dude, you know where I am? And I met Sarah, and she seemed like such a nice person. And then I was like, well, but like, that was when he started telling me that he, you know, had his, you know, accident and his surgery and the cage in his neck and everything. And then he started talking about getting back to his stripper body. And I was like, I think that's a conversation we need to have at some point, because what?
See, I chalk a lot of this up to just his overall insecurity, like his inability to be straight with mostly, you know, women, as opposed to people in general. Well, you know, there's that. he didn't have stage fright, but he also wanted to be a good front man, wanted to be a good wrestler,
Yeah.
wanted to be a good father. He wanted all of these things, but he was holding himself back out of fear of failure.
Well, he also didn't want to sacrifice.
And he didn't want to disappoint either.
And he didn't want to disappoint either.
But that's what I chalk it up to, because, just like with you, I told him, like, if that's what you want, go for it. Don't make excuses, just fucking go for it. And he and I, the only bad moment we ever had realistically, we didn't have a lot of time together.
Yeah.
We had from 2013 until 2021, and that's not really long in the grand scheme of things when you look at some of the other lengthy relationships he's had with other people.
Yeah.
Because from 2017 to 2021, we didn't see each other. We only talked over, text. The only bad moment was that, infamous night at the Chance. But other than that, like, it's like, if you want to meet up, let's meet up. Like, I don't care if I have to come pick you up. Like, we'll go out and get a beer. Sure. But he always built up these things in his mind, like, so-and-so is going to think this about me, or so-and-so believes this, or, oh, I'm a piece of shit because, this happened and so-and-so hasn't gotten over it. And it's like, no, like, we're all your friend. We're all here for you if you need us, but you have to, grow a pair and ask for help when you really need it. I distinctly remember having to almost beg Jess to allow him to do our last show.
Yeah.
Because there was no way we were going to do it without him. We were all at our wits' end at the time, because we're just like, he's missing practices. It's coming up, and it's just like, she's standing between us and our final send-off, and can't do it without him.
Yeah.
And I got her on the phone, and I'm like, you have to let him do this. Like, he's not going to do anything stupid. We're all going to have some drinks and have some laughs and and reminisce on old times, because this meant a lot to not just us, but a lot of people.
Yeah.
And he finally showed up, and he, in true Jym fashion, he rose to the occasion.
Yeah.
And I'm very glad, because we can look back on that, and that was the best show ever.
Yeah. I remember missing it. I remember I had planned to go, and it was the same thing with his wrestling shows. It got hard to, like, I supported his decisions and stuff, but, like, to see him leave Two-Fisted Law,
that was tough.
It broke my heart.
It
really broke my heart. And knowing how he had injured himself so many times, he would tell me every time, like, I have a match, I have a show, I have this, that, and the other thing, and I'm like, I love you, I'm not coming to see you wrestle. And I'm like, because I know that I will be there when you break your neck and die. And I'm like, I will not. I'm like, I support you doing exactly what you want to be doing, but I cannot watch it.
He missed half of Upstart 2015 because he injured himself again.
I'm like, I can't be there for that. I can't.
And the thing is that, like, I was bummed that he was missing practices and missing shows. I was bummed when he left, but I understood where his heart was at. He really wanted to give wrestling a shot.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't fault you for that. Like, that's what you want out of life. And if you're okay stepping away for a while, then step away from music, do your wrestling. The door's always open,
Yeah.
And that was evidenced by the many reunions that took place afterwards. Them getting together during COVID to start writing new music.
Yeah, that one really surprised me.
I mean, the hardest part for me was the fact that the last time I saw him in person was my actual brother's wake.
Yeah.
John had died, and Jym showed up late, but he stayed and he walked me to my car.
Yeah.
And that was the last time I saw, it was not the last time I talked to him, but the last time I saw him in the flesh. And Henry was born a month later, and he would text me, he looks so much like you. We have to get together and get a beer. And I'm like, dude, anytime. Any fucking time.
Yeah.
And it was August 25th that I got the call, and I'm just like, no.
Yeah.
No.
was out with him on the 23rd, and that is still bone chilling to me. You know, it's cosmic. There's no other way to describe it. And
he was like a big brother to me.
I truly thought it was a joke. I thought it was the worst joke ever played. I'm like, what the fuck are these people talking about? He's dead. I'm like, that's a fucking lie. And I broke. I broke, and I'm still broken from it. You know, this weekend has been psychological torture for me, and it is every year. And I'm not going to cry. We don't cry in podcast land. But, you know, every once in a while, like, I cannot help it because it just feels so fucking cruel. Because he and I had not seen each other in almost 2 years.
Yeah, I'm a little bummed I don't get free whiskey on stage anymore. That man had balls of steel, especially when asking for free whiskey.
I got free whiskey. Shots would go around and he would give me one. And I'm like, the fuck you want me to do with this? I don't shoot whiskey.
I didn't do shots before that. But
I'm like, please, have at thee. I'm like, no, thank you. But, you know, I miss the fuck out of him. I really do. And it was hard asking for friendship from people that I hadn't talked to in years when he died. You know, Kyle and Eric and people that I hadn't seen in a long time that, you know, it's like, I need you guys right now. I need people who had him, you know, as a brother. And I reached out to you. Mm-hmm. And that's where you and I started again.
I see what you did there.
And I will forever be grateful to him for that, because I do not doubt for one hot second that he had something to do with that. Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, call it what you want, but I absolutely
He's probably laughing at us right now. Either that or he's just thinking of ways to torment me when I get up there. Like I said in the car, you know, there were things he knew would get under my skin. Mm-hmm. But, you know, I miss his jokes. I miss his goofiness. I miss, you know, like, I miss standing next to him on stage. I miss being able to vocally harmonize with him, because that's something I have not had with anybody. Our ranges matched up perfectly.
Yeah.
And
he was a good person.
I wish I could go back and do it, because it was so long ago now. Like, it's been point, 10, 11 years since that part of my life began. And, you know, we got into one of his small independent movies because of him. We got on a lot of good shows because of what a great frontman he was when he was on.
I remember him bragging about that movie so much.
I remember going to the premiere of that movie.
Oh my God. I remember him talking about that. What was it called?
Completely Normal.
That's it. I remember him talking about that movie so fucking much. And I'm like, you're an actor now? And he's like, oh yeah. And I'm like, what? I'm like, you're an actor now.
Like, my friend is in a movie. And we're in it for half a second. Like, that's kind of amazing. Like, so if you want to go on Amazon, you know, there's this movie. There's a great shot of Jym. Like, the girl, you know, it cuts as she walks through the doorway, and then it turns into Jym, and he's dressed in what she's wearing and rips the bra off, and it's just like, and he can't get it off.
Oh God.
But like, it's weird to think that all of those times of seeing him on the regular, of seeing those groups of people on the regular, was so long ago.
Yeah.
And it's not an every day or every week or every month occurrence anymore. Like,
Yeah.
it's not like we're all gathering at Billy Beans or Empress or, you know, any or the Spot or any of our old usual haunts
Yeah.
with our group of, you know, regulars on a regular basis like we were doing in the late 2000s and early 2010s.
Yeah.
And you know, it's not just difficult because, you know, Jym is gone, but because some more of those people from those groups and those times are up there with him.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't like that, you know, so many people are like, they seem to hit like their 40s and they go downhill really fast. And it's been hard the last few years seeing that.
Like, I remember when all this started, I was in my late 20s. These guys were all in their mid to late 30s.
Yeah.
So Jym and I were almost exactly 10 years apart.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking to myself, okay, in 10 years' time, that's what I'm going to look like. That's the place I'm going to be in life. And in some respects, that's what happened. But in a lot of ways, it's not. Like, you know, people's lives change over time. You know, people surround themselves with different people and do different things with their lives, and their priorities change. And, you know, I mean, I think if I was in the same place, I don't know that you and I would have got together.
Maybe not. You know, I mean,
you've maintained that, you know, if we had tried to date, you know, 10, 15 years ago, it wouldn't have worked.
It wouldn't have worked.
We were in very different places.
It absolutely would not have worked. You know, and I'm grateful to have had the time to evolve. Mm-hmm. And, you know, and Jym was one of those people that I watched evolve.
Watching him go gray was kind of weird.
It was very odd.
Yeah.
It was very weird. Not as weird as being blonde. That, I think, was the weirdest one to me. I was just sort of like, no. I'm like, I don't like that. But
because he never let himself grow them, like, certain parts of facial hair, but then, you know, post-pandemic, it was just kind of a free-for-all, and then the gray really started coming in, and it's just like, who is that man?
There's that one picture of him with the Burger King crown. That's my favorite. I mean, that's King Idiot right there.
That was his birthday.
That was fantastic. And, you know, and I loved because he was a part of our birthday week, you know, because his birthday
the 27th.
Was the 27th. Mine's the 31st, and then yours is the 5th. Mm-hmm. And, you know, he would always be like, what are we doing for our birthday this year? And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, no, we have to do something. And I'm like, the man never had a car. He never had any money. And I was like, what do you want to do? And I was like, what are we going to do? And he's like, we're going to go, you know, 1 year he really pulled it off though. Because 1 year he was like, we're going to see AFI at the Chance. And I was like, we are? And he's like, absolutely, we fucking are. And he's like, I have a ticket for you. You can pay me back later. And I was like, there it is. There it is. I'm like, that's the Jym I know. But let me tell you, it was a good show. It was a very good show.
Did you pay him back?
I did pay him back, yes. I did pay him back. That show, actually, I got one of the funny stories because he ran into some people who, you know, were fans and everything. So, you know, we didn't hang out the whole night, but there was a point at which I was standing on the stairs, you know, leading down into the pit area, right? Those stairs from the bar. And this drunk idiot came up to me, and it was literally like, as AFI's crew was like getting the stage ready for them to go on. This guy just comes over and he grabs my wrist, and he's just like, dude, did I miss AFI? And I was like, they're getting ready to go on now, dude. And he's just like, what, so I missed it? And I was just like, yeah.
You missed it.
Yeah, gone, dude. Sorry.
Bye.
And I watched that idiot walk out of the building. And I was like, and when Jym came back, I was like, I've got a story for you. I was like, see what happens when you leave me alone. But that was one of the few times that, you know, we really like did something for our birthdays. But no matter what, he always remembered. He always remembered, you know, like, this is, you know, he always remembered to be like one of the first people to wish me a happy birthday because he knew that it meant something to me. And that was the kind of idiot that he was. He would remember like dumb things that mean things to you, and just hang on to them. He was an absent-minded motherfucker. And he would just sort of be a space cadet sometimes.
It's funny because when I was going through tough times in my relationship back then,
Yeah.
he was always in my ear being like, you need to get away from that. You need to, you know, reclaim yourself and, you know, be who you are and not, you know, change for anybody. Like, you know, this is not good for you. You need to, you know, do this, this, and that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I know you're right, but there's all this stuff that factors into it that I can't just, you know, ignore, and, you know, I just keep making excuses. But I mean, he wasn't wrong, but, you know, the tables would eventually turn a couple of years later, and it's like, dude, this is not good for you. You need to walk away from this.
No, I can't.
And then the thing is, we were trying to look out for each other. I'm just trying to think of like all the most obscure Jym stories that I know. Like I remember him sleeping in front of an open fridge door on a linoleum floor.
That sounds right.
I remember him going into Walgreens at 11 o'clock and coming out with nothing but a pack of hot dogs. No buns, no mustard, just hot dogs. I remember him in the parking lot of the Staten Island Pier just pissing a river of alcohol right outside Kyle's truck door. I remember him hitting it off with the guys in Goat Whore. Like, everybody in the band was like on edge because they're like, we're not going to be able to sell enough tickets for this show.
Yeah.
We're not going to fit in. I'm like, I really want to play with Goat Whore. Like, we're going to do this. And so, you know, like, I'll make it happen. And him and Ben, like, really, you know, there's a picture of the two of them that made it into like New Noise magazine or something.
Yeah.
God, what else?
What about when he disappeared?
Oh, at South by?
Yeah.
Yeah, he got lost going down a one-way street carrying the merch bin. He disappeared for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Fucking idiot.
I remember the first year that I did Punk Island. And he had gotten me into it and everything. And I got down there and I had, you know, all of my stuff, and I didn't have a lot of stuff back then. But, you know, I had all of my stuff and everything, and I just remember driving around, and I could not find the entrance to the parking lot for the pier. And I was calling him and leaving him just hysterically crying voicemails. And I'm just like, I don't know where I'm going. Where are you? And I'm like, can you just walk up to the street so I know where to go? Just be at street level and just flag me down. And I was just driving, you know, around like, you know, the one way, you know, streets up the hills and in the residential areas and stuff. And I'm just like, I don't know where I'm going. And I was very tempted to turn around and go home. I'm glad I didn't, but I was very tempted to turn around and go home. But he met me up there and proceeded to carry all of my stuff. So I'm like, thank you.
He used to like bring up like, oh, you should teach me how to play. And I'm like, I would love to. Like, you pick the day and the time. Like, I'll sit there and do it. I don't care. Like, you know, I mean, that's just it. We did stuff outside of the band. Like, granted, I was driving him a lot of places and stuff, but like, you know, I mean, we would spend hours just fucking talking. Yeah. You know, and
he was very easy to just talk to.
I would go to Desert Moon when he was working there, and I just hang out while he worked and watch him in that stupid apron and fucking like. It
was always weird to me to see him working, like to see him have a job.
He got me to go to the gym, to go to a gym for the first time. Like, he had just recently met Randy and was working like with him, trying to break into the business. And, you know, he brought me in, he introduced me, and I'm like, I think I might join this place, you know, and we worked out together one time. Like, I wanted this to be a regular thing, you know, because like I want to look like that, you know, but I'm not sticking a needle in my arm.
No.
And, you know, like I said, I wish we had done that more.
Yeah.
I wish we had spent more time doing stuff, you know, like if I had known that reunions were in the works, I would have loved to have been a part of it,
Yeah.
you know, but even so, like if I knew at the time that stuff was going on, I would have gone to see it anyway. Like, because first and foremost, I was a fan of the band.
Yeah.
Like I remember when Late Nights and Bar Fights came out, and I'm just like, I loved the videos. I love that it was showing off parts of like our area, like, you know, places that we knew and loved.
Yeah.
I loved the music. I loved what I was getting into, and you know, it meant a lot to me at the time to get their approval.
Yeah.
Especially his.
I feel like it's like the safest thing to say would be to actually call him as a man, to call him like a Danbury landmark. Like he really was. Like I feel like, you know, if you were from like, you know, the tri-state and everything and you were into the scene, like you knew Big Jym. You knew him from one place or another. You knew him. Everyone knew him and everyone loved him. And to be a part of like his circle, to be a part of like the list of people that he would talk to on a regular basis was like, it was renowned in its own right because he was such an icon.
And he knew how to make you laugh, and he knew how to make you smile.
Yeah.
And he knew how to make you laugh at yourself.
Yeah.
I remember he drove my car one time, and you know how small my car is and how big of a man it's like he was driving a clown car.
Like I said,
he was like hunched
Marmaduke.
over. Yeah. Because the seat only goes back so far.
Yeah.
There's two distinct photos that I was not a part of that I love going back to look at. It's the one Halloween where Kyle dressed up as him, like clothes, drawn on tattoos and all, and then the one of him passed out next to a stack of 8x10s of himself.
That was
when he was still wearing
really
the all
iconic.
Black with the pink tie. Yeah,
very, very, very much tracks. I wish you were here. I really do.
You know, and he was giving me dirty looks. Like when I was recording the last practices. Like we had like 3 or 4 different Two-Fisted Law iterations. So like one guy would leave, another guy would pop in, and they'd do a different part of the set. And he was in for most of it because there was like Lance had a small part where he did his, but Jym sang on most everything. And so I'm standing on Tom's stairs recording like all the best known songs, the fan favorites and everything. Yeah. And he keeps looking over at me like, like, what the fuck are you, like, get the fucking camera out of my face. Like everybody does when they've got a camera in their face. And I'm like, no, I want to be able to go back 5, 10, 15 years from now and watch this and be like, that was awesome. Yeah. That was a great time. And now I can watch him give me dirty looks. But at the time, it wasn't so much that, we're all not going to be here. It's that, like nobody knows what's going to happen. Because now that, when the reality is he's gone, Tom doesn't live in that house anymore. The band isn't playing together. Like those songs aren't being like, I remember Mary Beth was really upset because she's like, she'd posted somewhere on somebody's post, like, I'm not going to be able to hear those songs anymore. Yeah. Like with Jym being gone, we're never going to hear the Two-Fisted Law songs sung the same way. Yeah. And that's heavy stuff.
It is, but the legacy is there. The legacy is there. And,
there's
You want to let the rest of us in?
If I could find it, it would be on social media tomorrow. I have to go hunting for it. There should still be a video somewhere of his first wrestling match where he's sitting in a folding chair and Ron Zombie is getting ready to kick him in the face. And he's just going like this and just like topples over.
And that made you laugh that hard?
Because he's getting ready for it. Like, he's just like, I'm so fucking ready. And then Ron just lays him out. That was my first indie show. I'd never been to an indie match until Jym's debut. And it was something.
How you doing?
Sometimes it just feels like he never left.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of times where, I mean, it's probably more than the time I spend being sad about it, where I think like, you know, next time I go out, he's just going to be at the bar, or like I can call him at any time. Like for some reason it doesn't, if I dig real deep, it hurts.
Yeah.
But if I just think of him as my bandmate who's just off on tour somewhere doing wrestling or another band or whatever, like he's still out there somewhere. And I just keep reminding myself of that.
I mean, every thought that I have of him always starts with what a doofus he is. It always starts with, because every story starts with, he's just such a doofus. And I love him for it. And I know every day that he's gone, and it sucks. It sucks worse than most things have sucked. But you know, you think I feel like it's hard sometimes when you lose somebody, and you worry sometimes that you're going to forget them. That like time is going to pass and it's not going to hurt anymore. And when it stops hurting, you stop remembering them. It's like they made their impression on you and now it's done. And I know that this is never going to be that. This is never, ever.
That man is impossible to forget.
It is impossible to forget someone like him. And there was only ever one, and will only ever be one like him. And I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful to have had as much time with him as I had. I'm grateful that he sent me you.
You know, it's thanks to being in Two-Fisted Law that I got to meet Howard Finkel.
What do you know about Howard Finkel?
And because of that, and because of being tied to the wrestling aspect of it, not only did I get to meet a whole bunch of wrestlers and people like, you know, Howard Finkel. Mm-hmm. Howard Finkel was known for being an announcer, for those who don't know, a ring announcer. And we played a wrestling award show where I think Jym actually won 1 or 2 awards that night, but they asked us to perform. And Howard Finkel introduced us, like did a ring introduction for the band.
Yeah.
That right there is one of the highlights of my life. And Jym is largely responsible for that. And I know he was thinking at the time, like, this is amazing. This man from my childhood is taking my two loves and melding them together.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
if only there were women involved, he would have been all set. With just a small bottle of whiskey.
Jym, small bottle. There's not enough whiskey in the state of Connecticut to get that man drunk enough.
No. That's all right. You know, he can get wasted all he wants.
Can ask for all the free whiskey he
wants.
All
the free whiskey he wants. No one will turn him down. This was a good talk.
See, I never want to stop talking about him because, again, so many more good times that outweigh the annoying.
Absolutely. Everything that has ever annoyed me about him, about, you know, our relationship, about our friendship and everything, it all feels like a joke. Like everything is laughable because it's just like nothing was so sour that it wasn't funny. And I have so much gratitude for that because I've never in my life been sour or bitter or salty you know, about anything that he's done. He was an idiot. He was a doofus, and it made it funny. And I'm grateful. And I'm grateful to have known someone like him.
He was the last person that I would expect to share a common love of Iron Maiden with. And to my surprise, he and I, you know, both share a love of the song Wasted Years, and we would listen to it on the way to shows.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe it. Like, this guy likes Iron Maiden, and he likes this song that I like as much as I do. And I'm like, you know, there's a deeper meaning in there somewhere. Like, and all I can think is like those years we spent together were some of my favorite.
Yeah.
We didn't waste a single one.
And that's what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
This was a good talk.
Do we have any whiskey in the house?
We might. You have to go digging for it. But thank you for tuning in. This was a very lovely.
It's a cathartic one.
Yeah, a real cathartic one. A real lovely way of spending the evening. I think just talking about about things that matter.
He's in here somewhere.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He's probably just peeking down and giggling like we did. Just
open here up this can of surge and whoop ass on your face.
But thank you out there in podcast land for tuning in. Please find us on social media, DT Andy and JJ Star. You can send us an email at dtandyandjjstar@gmail.com with questions, comments, concerns, conversation starters. Maybe you'd like to be a part of the conversation. You've got some shows coming up with Tax Collectors and Harlots.
Oh, crap. I knew that.
All right, I've got it. Ready?
September 5th.
September 5th at Bleachers Bar in Bristol. Yep. And then you have September 12th at Dead Language Brewing
in Hartford.
Yep, and then another Dead Language show
October
in October 24th.
24th.
Look, see? We
got this.
And in the interim, Love Hard Art will be at the New York Blood and Ink Tattoo and Horror Convention in White Plains, New York, first weekend in October 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
Follow them on Instagram because they are starting to announce the guests.
Yes.
You will see who will be there for the panels and the meet and greets.
It's going to be a good time had by all. I've got some really fun stuff.
I will be there passing out stickers and cards and goodie bags, all sorts of crazy stuff.
Hopefully you can find us with our buddies at Coat of Arms Tattoo. Hopefully we'll be there with us.
Mm-hmm.
I should look into that.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, find Coat of Arms Tattoo and Tax Collectors and Harlots. Love Hard Art. Find us all. We're all out there. And
find Big Jym. Big Jym's still out there.
Big Jym is still out there.
His socials are still existing, and
yeah.
You can go back and watch his matches. You can go back and see videos. You can go back on YouTube and see the Two-Fisted Lost set we played on the Staten Island Pier, where I am wearing all of the Love Hard merch.
And showing them gams, showing them sweet stems. Well, that's what hooked me. You should throw some more love at those legs because that's what got me. But yes, thank you again. Tell your loved ones you love them. I love you.
I love you.
All right.
Keep the spirits of the loved ones alive.
Absolutely. Legacy is important, and people are never gone if you remember them. And I think that's really something to take away. And again, tell everyone you love them. Tell your friends you love them so much it makes them uncomfortable.
As we said 4 years ago, hug everyone you know like you've got Jym-sized arms. I think Kyle came up with that.
Those are big fucking arms.
Yeah.
Big fucking arms. And that's a full lid for tonight. From the three of us at That Talking Podcast, I'm JJ Star.
And I'm Downtown Andy.
We will talk to you later.